Constantinople, now it's Istanbul. Now Constantinople, been a long time gone. Constantinople, now it's Turkish delight. On a moonlit
This is you guys know the song?
Constantinople lives in Istanbul. Now Constantinople.
I know it.
It's all right.
Is it for like Simon Garfunkel or something?
It is.
Who's it by?
They might be giants. The reason why I started off the show with this was because of, hey, it's Istanbul, not Constantinople.
Yeah.
We can do whatever the heck we want with the building structures that belong there.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. I thought it was fun. Welcome to the Mad Mamluks. My name is Sim. Along with me are my co-hosts, Morty, up on the top corner of the screen.
Yo.
And on the bottom is the host of Sultans and Sneakers, none other than the controversial Imam.
I'm like the most hated man on the show right now, it seems like. There's always one
I used to be
comment.
the most hated.
Yeah, now
I used to piss off everyone.
Now it's like, there's always one comment, it's like, Mahin's a brat. After every show or something.
I think it all started like with me. It was with Hamza Yusuf. When I think, and the thing is like most mature people were like really cool about it because all I said was, regarding the Syria thing.
Yeah. Which
he ended up recanting, and he realized like, hey, it wasn't in error that I said that, and I commended him for that, But what I will say this much about the brothers from like Zaytuna and stuff, is that they're always like more willing to accept criticism than other organizations. Like, they take it in stride. At least like guys like Bin Hamid Ali and those guys. We always have a cordial relationship with them, and mashallah, I gotta tip my hat where it's due.
Mm-hmm.
Yo.
And then Mort does his stint sometimes, Mort as the most hated guy, but then.
Yeah.
And then occasionally we'll have Moga will pop out every now and then. It's been like a couple
Moga
years.
was only hated by the Somalis.
The Somalis hated Moga.
Moga is Thomas Sowell's student. For those who don't know, Thomas Sowell is a economist who is basically very much conservative leaning. He does not give much consideration to reparations and things like that. He always says, everyone figure it out. Racism exists, but you still need to do your hard work and due diligence. So Moga's a very controversial black man on the show.
He's like Jesse Lee Peterson. You know who that is, mine?
No, I was thinking more of Clayton Bigsby.
He's the black guy that the conservative radio show host that basically thanked the white man for having slavery.
Really?
Maybe you can pull that clip up. Can you just put in Jesse Lee Peterson slavery?
Jesse Lee Peterson's slavery?
I mean, dude, the guy. I mean, the whole thing is just funny, man. I mean, I've never met. I don't know if it's actually banter or if he actually really means it, but basically, he's a conservative radio talk show host, and he does all kinds. He even had what's her name, Amber Rose on there. And, in the whole light of this no slut shaming movement, he was talking about it. And so they're progressing in the argument. And she asked him, what do you call women who sleep around? And he goes, sluts, right? And she's like, you shouldn't do that. That's not right. What about men that sleep around? And he goes, slut makers.
Oh.
So that's the kind of crazy stuff that he is.
Oh, so Jesse Lee Peter, I found it. Which one are we talking about?
The one about slavery.
Why shouldn't I be thankful?
Yeah.
Oh my God, are you sure this is not going to get us murdered?
Well, I mean, I don't believe in the way he's saying is right, but the guy, I mean, it's just.
Oh.
Bring you back slavery.
Okay, here we go.
Not really, no.
Then why do you say that you call me white supremacist and then you bring up the slavery thing?
I said some white supremacists want to bring back slavery. Not all white people. Most white people are not racist or white supremacists. But you kowtow to the ones that are.
Be quiet, man. You from Africa. Don't talk like that. Well, what white supremacists? What white supremacists want to bring back slavery? When have you heard that?
In the Ku Klux Klan rallies, if you go on YouTube, they say they want to bring back slavery.
Oh,
you seem to think that there was some benefits to slavery that most normal thinking people don't think so.
No, those are not normal thinking people. Let me ask, Are black people, were you raised by your father and mother?
Yes.
And as a result of that, you're having a good life?
Yeah, I think that's a good thing. I'm not against that.
Are you a moral man?
He gets to it. Hold on.
A moral?
Yes.
Yeah, but I don't know if you are because you...
Well, don't worry about me right now. Let's just do you. Are you a moral man?
Yes.
And as a result, you're having a good life, right?
Yes.
Most, not all, are most black people suffering due to slavery or the destruction of the family and a lack of moral character?
Did you go forward?
I think
skip forward? Oh, yeah, you did. Go back.
I think
you went way too far.
Another good question. You know how when the slaves were coming over and begging, especially blacks today who don't even know anything about slavery, they have freedom to do what they want. Instead of complaining, I would show my appreciation to the folks who died and sacrificed their lives that I might be born in the greatest country in the world. So even though slavery looked like it was a bad thing, it turned out to be good for us because we could be stuck in Africa somewhere.
But wait, why do you have to liken it?
So you're getting the idea of what this guy is, right? Okay. I mean, so when I can't tell whether the guy is actually being serious or trolling, but I think there's some truth to what he believes in, right? I mean, what I think there's some, I think not truth, but I think what he believes in some of the stuff that he says, regardless if he's trolling or not. But he says all kinds of things.
Look, that's stupid because things like you can say if a Jewish person could say like Israel wouldn't have happened if the Holocaust didn't happen.
Absolutely,
that's the equivalent of that kind of logic. That's stupid and ridiculous.
Like I said, I think it might be a little bit of banter, but that's how I view Mo.
I mean, people take this guy seriously. Dude, holy cow! He's got almost 300,000 subscribers on YouTube,
and he has like clips that go viral.
I wonder how many of them are white.
Oh, probably all of them.
Yeah.
Like 99.99999% of them are probably.
So the thing about Thomas Sowell. So when I talk to people about like these like intellectuals and these various groups, and this is like people include because Sheikh Abdullah gets a bad rap, right?
Abdullah Madyoun?
Bin Hamid.
Oh, Bin Hamid. Okay.
Yeah. Because there's this idea that your community needs to respect you, right?
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So like, therefore, if let's say, because none of us here are black, if we cherry pick, like, so this came up in a conversation I was having with a friend the other day. He's like, it's cool to go out and like solicit different thoughts and stuff, but like, don't get caught cherry picking only certain thoughts, like only Thomas Sowell, like if. You know what I'm saying?
Dude, I listen to Thomas Sowell, and guess who's the opposite of that?
Cornel West?
No, I mean, Cornel West would probably be, but someone who Thomas Sowell particularly mentions that he doesn't like is Noam Chomsky.
Oh, yeah.
And they're on the opposite ends of the spectrum on many different things. And I listen to both, and I enjoy listening to both because they're just so articulate, and they have a lot of thought and reason behind it. And at the end of the day, their thoughts and opinions are shaped by their essential truths about how they look at the universe and our relationship with everything around us. The essential
worldview.
Yeah, power, structures, all these different things that are related to deep philosophical truths that people have built ideologies on top of. And it's just interesting to see how they formulate their thought, and in some instances you'll see that Sowell is right on things, and then in others, for me at least, Chomsky is right on many things, and a lot of it has to do with like just human nature itself. And I think when you look at Chomsky, you realize that he's looking at the idealistic version of the human and what humanity should strive for, whereas Sowell looks at, well, this is the reality of what humanity is, this is what power is, this is what hard work does, and this is what and Chomsky says, well, yeah, that might be all true and things, but there's a social responsibility that we all have, being citizens and part of a community, and we have to strive for this idealistic world where we are constantly questioning power, So
I think that would be like, Chomsky's more of an altruist and like you always have two different sides, right? You have people that view the world in a very utopian way,
Right.
where they see that that everything could be better, and the world could be a better place, and we can do it, right? And those utilitarians who simply,
Yeah. You're bang on the money, because Saul is saying, like, deal with what we have, and Chomsky's saying we could be better.
Yeah.
We have many different ideals that we could live up to. We have this X factor in humanity where we strive to get better, try to be better people, and we shouldn't allow the standard or whatever the status quo is to be okay. We should always be better.
Hey, what I find is like these two ideas or schools of thought are like common in elder people. And like nowadays, the monkey wrench is coming in. There's a nihilist. They're coming back in,
Yeah.
and they're like, "Screw everything. Let's just do what you want to do. There's no purpose. We have nothing to really do in the world."
That's the postmodernism.
Yeah.
And you'll see a lot of that stuff even in things like Star Wars, where they killed off the Sith. Oh, sorry, the Jedi.
Yeah.
And you saw what postmodernism says is basically any new experience. And for any philosophy students listening, you're probably gonna murder me, but in relation to media and the context of what I'm talking about, I'm going to give a quick synopsis of what postmodernism is that every new experience is its own, and you don't necessarily have to use a body of evidence to make judgment on what is happening right in front of you right now. So why does she get rid of the Jedi? Because the Jedi are the old knowledge. There are people who have their reality was their own reality.
It's not evolved to what they feel.
It doesn't have anything to do with what the new reality is, and this is why some some of our mashayikh have been under question, that they no longer, or maybe not no longer, but they are questioning the inherent belief structure that was built on over the period of 1400 years, that scholars have been building on top of each other's knowledge, and they're kind of not really necessarily pulling out the underpinnings of knowledge, but reevaluating everything that the previous scholars did, and possibly reinterpreting the religion for today.
I think in talking about religion, though, I think especially with fiqh rulings, there's always a time and place factor, meaning that a scholar may have passed a certain verdict 500 years ago or 200 years ago, because the reality of people at that time versus the reality today was different.
Yeah.
And sometimes that gets just included as part of the school of thought, and it's not questioned anymore. It becomes meaning that it becomes the official opinion, and it hasn't been updated based on since it was the original fatwa was given, right? And so those kinds of things are where people today will look at it and be like, well, we need to look back at now, because at that time they had a Islamic government, they had things like that. Now we don't. But in terms of this whole postmodernism thing, nihilists are to me, in a nutshell, it's very simple. I think I think generally society and human beings have gravitated towards functioning on a communal level and being a community, and I think nihilism leads to individualism, meaning that it's all about me. I don't care about anything else. Right? I'm going to do what I feel is right, what's okay to me. There's no wrong.
Yeah, and these are the structural underpinnings of capitalism. That these are the inherent truths that capitalism says, hey, humanity is not built in this ideal version that many of us want it to be, that we're going to be in this, what's it called, barter system type, where we're all like looking out for each other, and we're going to be one tribe, and that it says that we are our innate nature is a selfish innate nature. Now, what's the difference between that and Islam? Islam also says that, on the Day of Judgment, we're going to be looking about me. That's our what's going to happen with our akhirah, right? So, but Islam frames our selfishness to be centered around our obedience to the Creator. right?
Right.
So there's a direct relationship with selfishness, and it has correct parameters around it. Yes, Islam doesn't ignore selfishness in itself. It says yes, it's a human reality, but there is a way for you to make sure that your selfishness is towards the pleasure of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, so that you are worried about what Allah wants from you, so that you can enter paradise and that you can achieve his pleasure, right?
So the biggest thing is that capitalism and that selfishness in capitalism is specifically limited to this world.
Right.
And it doesn't have it. There's no moral code around it, right?
Yes.
Whereas even in Islam, if you're selfish to get ajr, inevitably you're still going to be doing good.
Right.
Whether it's sadaqah, zakah, or it's jihad fi sabilillah, whatever.
How many brothers would go out to eat with when we were young, and we were learning about the faith, and we were around a lot of people who practiced the faith very strongly, right? They would fight to pay for the food, right? It wasn't about bragging. It wasn't about like showmanship or anything. They would go slip under the back and say that, hey, we're going to the washroom or something. They would pay for the bill,
right.
And it was because they wanted to show like they were fighting for the pleasure of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, right?
Granted, it's become part of a culture, but those cultural aspects are influenced by the fact that we want to do good.
Yeah.
There's an objective here. I'm not going to get rewarded. I mean, honestly, if I pay $30, $50, $100 for a meal, that thank you that somebody gives me isn't going to give. It's not going to do anything for me. Right?
Yeah.
I mean, I'm not going to pay $100 for a thank you. Right?
Mort plays it off, right? Mort is the most You come.
Mashallah, dude. Yeah.
No,
I hate to say it in front of his face, but he always will. Just,
dude, I remember ISNA a couple years ago. We were at that like terrible place called Katz's.
He's been like this
at,
like
one in the morning. It's like it was like late night. We went to eat, right? I remember Sheikh Amr was pissed because he thought they were gonna have like
somebody told us it was halal food or kosher.
Right. So
somebody from
Texas.
Yeah.
So Mort, we were eating, and then Mort was like, "Hey man, I ain't got time to wait. I gotta go outside and have a fresh, get some fresh air." And he would use it as an excuse, like, "Oh, here's the card, just charge it, because I don't have time to wait for these guys.
Yeah,
I need to go get fresh air." I was like, so he like plays it off like, "Oh, it's not like I don't really care about. It's like I just want to go get on my way. So." Yeah. If I just pay, then it'll be faster.
Yeah.
By like what, 10 seconds?
No, you know what?
I don't argue with them.
I feel. Look, I'll be honest. I think generosity is, and I really believe this is from the Sunnah too. When you break bread with people, that's always something that you're never going to replace.
Yeah.
No matter, I mean, you can soften the hardest of hearts by just paying for someone's meal or inviting them for dinner or giving them a small gift. It doesn't have to be expensive. It could be the fact that you went out and without them even asking for it, right? And that's one of the benefits of Islam and brotherhood.
But also it's a solution towards this selfishness within us.
Well, I mean, here's what I mean. I don't want to brag or anything, but alhamdulillah, I think we all make enough money. But and my mother's always told me this, that one of the secrets to sustaining yourself is be thankful and always give sadaqah.
Right.
Sadaqah is the way that you're going to invite more goodness to you, more wealth.
and divert or push away the wrath of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala.
I mean, it protects you from, ayn and hasad, and not only that, but also Allah is going to give money to people who's giving.
Right.
Right? If He knows His servants are giving for His cause, He wants to give to those people so that they can give.
This is something even within non-Muslims is a practice. Robert Kiyosaki talks about this in Rich Dad Poor Dad. He talks about the generosity of the wealthy. It's just some metaphysical force behind being generous that
so let's talk
it
about
always
that.
comes back to you.
But even creating that mindset, that positive mindset of thinking that that I know. Now, I personally don't believe in altruism. I don't think it exists. That people always want something in return, whether it doesn't have to be physical.
Yeah.
It could be even like emotional or even in the next life. But regardless of that, that attitude of giving things to people, that feeling that you get as a human being, that satisfaction that you can get is a satisfaction that's unlike anything else.
Yeah.
Right? It's unique. I'm not saying it's the best for some people. It may not be, but it is unique in itself. That it may, and you ever heard of like putting things out in the universe and waiting to get it back? People call karma or qadr.
Yeah.
Well, obviously we don't use those words. It's qadr. We know Allah will reward as He rewards, right? But at the end, and this is important because sometimes there's a hadith about this, like the dua sometimes somebody would make, and like, oh Allah, if I've done any good, any goodness for you, I need upon that goodness, I need, I grant me this thing.
I make that dua every night, dude.
Yeah.
For everything. And then like I forget about it once I get it. Then I just like, remember that one time I did that for you, Allah?
You did?
And then like I call him that favor.
Oh, you do that. Oh yeah. See, I don't do it like that. I'm just saying I need goodness.
I'm joking.
Yeah. No, because some people believe it. We talked about last time. Or some people think that, hey, you know what? It's a tit for tat relationship.
Yeah.
I scratch your back, you scratch my back. Kind of like that. Transactional, right? Yeah. And they feel owed, like indebted, like Allah is in debt to you now. Well, astaghfirullah. Allah's not in debt to anybody, right? Yeah. But the thing, anyways, point being is, but I believe in that, like creating that environment of goodness, and like I honestly, I tell you guys, it's maybe like 5 years ago, if I saw a person in the street who was like asking for money, I had this policy where I was like, you know what, if it's a young man, I'm not giving him any money. It's got to be a woman or an old person, because that young man could be out there working and making money. Why is he picking up scrap metal, right? But I changed the way I do that now. I said, you know what, even if that man messed up, even if he's a bum, right? Every human being has a right to eat. What do I know about the common misconception or assumption? He's gonna go buy drugs. He's gonna go get drunk with alcohol, right? Yeah. I don't know that, but at least I know that when I go to bed, that man didn't go to bed hungry tonight.
I was with Dilly in the UK, right? And we're walking through these malls or something like that. It's an outdoor mall or something in Bedford, and some guy comes up to me asking for money, and I'm like, all right, I'll just give him some change in my pocket, and I just grabbed whatever I had and I gave it to him, and that guy's like, "Whoa, thank you so much." I'm like, "Wait, what did I do?" And Dilly like looked at me puzzled, and apparently, like in America, we don't have like dollar coins.
Dollars, right.
These are like a lot of. I gave him like a whole bunch. Yeah, these are like $2, 2-pound coins and stuff like that. Yeah, I do in Canada too, like loonies and loonies. Apparently, I gave him the equivalent of 10 pounds.
Yeah.
So, but yeah.
But I real quickly though, for those of you that give, if you're gonna give, and I'm saying if you have money, don't just give the pocket change you have. If you're gonna give, be genuine and give actual.
Well, the UK people can give pocket change.
What I mean is like,
I'm just joking.
What I mean is like equivalent, right? Yeah. Like something that's worth. Don't give someone a quarter. Right? I mean, yeah, you might feel just because you're emptying your change out of some pocket, your pocket has some change. No, what I try to do is, honestly, I look for the largest bill I have. I mean, not 100, but I look for the largest bill I have and I give that. And I say, you know what? Because if Allah is going to give, just like Allah has given me that, He'll give me more, right?
Oh. But one exception, though. Gypsies. We can't give money to gypsies.
I don't know. I've never met a gypsy.
Bro, the people who hang out outside the mosque. At the mosque that we go to, they're literally have a nice car that is parked like a block away, and they all come out, wearing the costume.
Yeah, I think so. You mean the scam? Yeah, I mean, look, I think I've gotten used to them. I can tell who's a scam artist and who's not.
How do you tell?
Well, I mean, like
they're gypsies.
No, not stop saying gypsy. No, but no. Because
are they the ones that say like have the signs?
Yeah, they all have signs and look at
my orphan or whatever.
Yeah, like I just came. I have 5 children, 6 children. The whole thing where it's like a big thing. I mean, honestly, I'll tell you something. If they're in the masjid, I will give them money. And I'm saying, listen. The reason being is, I've realized this. Allah will take my intention, and I'll be rewarded either way. Right? Those people.
Shouldn't there be an argument that could be made that those people, they're already being taken care of by the state and other resources?
What if they're illegal?
No, but like more. Why don't you, as a Muslim, be directing your funds, your extra resources towards Muslim causes, other Islamic efforts and reliefs So
I have to think about that. I don't believe that people who are miskeen, a religion should play a part in that. A person who is poor, and if he appears to be asking for money, that's something that transcends.
No, but I think Sim is saying that like if the dude doesn't need money and he's scamming you for money.
Well, you don't even know. Let's just say you're not even sure. Okay, let's just.
Yeah.
Let's put the gypsy thing aside. Okay.
I don't really know that.
Let's just say that these are the regular peddlers that you walk by in downtown Chicago. You know, we see them all the time when we're walking, and you say, you know what? I'm gonna not give anything to them. I'm gonna save whatever amount of money I was gonna give, and give it towards an Islamic charitable cause.
Like Mad Mom Looks, patreon.com/the Mad Mom Looks.
I don't think we qualify. Well, I think I'm kind of my bank account's really bad.
No, but so the thing is, like, for me is, I'll be honest, I donate separately to those things, the causes overseas, but.
No. Let's just say you already give that money, but let's just say someone is making this argument. Morty, those people are being taken care of. There's millions of people, wealthy people in downtown who are probably giving them money already. But you, as a Muslim who knows that Islamic organizations need that money much more than the people on the street do.
So I will look at it like this. To me, giving money to someone in hand that you see, for me, makes more sense to me. There are Islamic organizations that give money, and like only 10% makes it back to the people. Yeah. Right. So I'm not saying that you shouldn't.
Here's what I'll tell you. Okay. But let me make the argument for you. Okay. Is what I think giving from your hand to someone else, it in itself is a heart softener. Like it makes you. Forget about clicking on someone's website and typing in $25 donation or some Facebook fundraising campaign. Forget about it. I think when you give someone with your own hand, you realize, like, you know what, your body or that relationship is being strengthened, where you are becoming more charitable. You are realizing that you're getting rid of that selfishness, right?
And not only that, I think also you have to understand that this is an act of dawah.
Yeah.
When people see, like when I'm holding up a car line in the left turn lane just to give somebody money. And I'm not screaming, and I'm not doing it like in an evil way. I'm saying, hey, I gotta ask you something. I'm not treating them like, hey, I'm gonna throw money at them, right? Yeah. Treat these people like human beings, because I look at them as people who are a source of ajr for me, right? I should be thanking him. I mean, I look at it like I'm grateful that he's there, that I can give him money because I can get ajr from it. Yeah. Right?
Some people make the argument, like, I know your brother is very generous too, right? And I remember one of our friends gave him a hard time because he gave like a poor guy like $10 or something like that. Yeah. And it's like, why didn't you just buy him a sandwich? Or why did you give him a $10 bill? He's probably going to go, waste that money away. What do you think about just buying a sandwich?
Well, you could as well too, but at the end of the day, the thing is like this. The reason why I don't do that is, number one, first of all, I don't know. I'm not. Usually, I'm in a car. I'm somewhere moving. I can't do it. Number two, let's say you buy him food, right? I want to give him more than just a sandwich. Yeah. Right. So what if he just eaten that right then and there? Yeah. Like what if he's not hungry at that moment? But he's thinking about maybe in 5 hours or 10 hours.
Yeah. Usually they ask for food, though. That's my experience. They'll ask for what they want.
If they're hungry.
Yeah, if they're hungry, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
I mean, I gave someone, when I was on the way back one time, I saw a guy and I had a Sbarro's pie. I just gave him a slice of pizza. Like, here you go. Yeah. And he was happy. I gave him some money, too.
Right.
That's a really good slice of pie. I wouldn't have given it to him. I would have given him the money. I would have just said, hey.
I gave him a slice of pizza and the pie and some money.
Mashallah, you're a better man
than
me.
No, I mean, like, cause I have a whole pie sitting there. I'm not going to give him a slice of pizza. I feel so rude.
I would have just given him a taco.
So
what about taco?
When I was in Tangier, like in Morocco, like a few months back, we're walking back to our hotel, and there's a guy who, like, I think my wife went to get ice cream or something, right? So I was walking back, and this guy is like, asked for like groceries or something. He's like, he wants groceries. So I just went in to get like bottles of water, and then I was like, yeah, whatever this dude wants, like. He's on me.
He cleaned you out,
dude. No, but he started going, and I was like, because the thing is, it was my last few days there, and I didn't have like, I was running out of like, money, yeah. I was running out of dirhams, yeah. And I was like, yo, I don't have any dirhams left, and so they had to go back and chase the dude, because he like was like getting all this stuff. I'm like, what the heck? Yeah. And he like loading it up, and I'm like counting. And then he's like running out the door, and I'm like, "Yo, actually, I don't have enough. He needs to give back this, this, and this." Yeah. And this dude went back and chased him.
Yeah. I mean, so here's another thing too. For anyone that's been overseas, you see like real poverty.
Yeah.
When you're overseas, I'm not saying that people here are not in poverty, but I mean over there, they are. I mean, you see true and real poverty when you go over there. And like I'm talking from Egypt to Saudi Arabia to Syria, Jordan, anywhere you go. I've been to Pakistan. I've been to parts in Africa. It's just like you see real and true poverty there. Yeah. And I think like when I'm over there in those countries, I tend to like just not even think twice about it because those people are really hungry, right? I mean, like those are the guys that literally be. Yeah. Oh, so nice of you to join us.
So nice of you to join us. MashaAllah. Look at you.
I like the Habib shirt, man.
Look, you're so important. You're already covering up a camera. Hang on a second. Yeah, Sheikh, you're covering your head, back of your head is covering up a camera. Can you please be cognizant of poor Mahin F. Islam?
Have you,
wait, that sounded really bad. Mahin F. Islam. Like, very Islamophobic, your name.
I think that's why my parents named me that way. Also, Mahin is the, yani, what's the Arabs know as
Khabith.
Yeah, like despicable.
Despicable, Khabith. Yeah.
So, like, my parents were like, yeah, they named me.
But in Urdu and Bangla, it means something else. Can you guys hear my voice?
Oh, yeah, we can hear you.
My boy Obada, he's a Palestinian brother. So my dad's name is Mufakhar al-Islam, the great thinker of Islam, right? And then he's like, he named you Mahin al-Islam, the despicable, the despised one of Islam.
So where were you? Were you in Khalwa?
I heard he was repeating his shahada.
Wait,
I like it.
Why are you repeating your shahada? Why don't you tell us?
Wait, so were you in Khalwa? Like, what were you doing?
No, bro. So I had a very, very long day today. Your tools are... Don't worry. We're going to get your tools. Circular saw. What was it? It was a circular saw. It was air compressor and shop vac.
Yeah, I mean, the guy avoided me the whole day.
I promise I wasn't avoiding you, bro. I had the craziest day
the
today.
Last time
I swear to God, dude.
Poor guy, his phone's broken. And then he had a message like 2 hours later, LOL, I missed your messages again.
That's exactly what I said.
Who does that?
No, dude. So I had a really, really long day. Alhamdulillah. I'm like switching back and forth through my parents' place.
Everything okay though?
Yeah, yes. Alhamdulillah, everything's okay.
What happened with your shahada?
So the shahada was supposed to be like at 8:50, 8:45, like after Maghrib. But the brother who took his shahada today, mashallah, brother Herc.
Ataturk?
Herc.
Oh, I thought you said Turk.
Mashallah, awesome brother, man. He was
like the car company?
No, Herc.
Oh, okay.
It's his nickname.
Okay.
It's his nickname. He trained, Curtis Blades from the UFC?
Yes.
Trained Curtis. So he's the trainer of, Bilal Muhammad?
Yeah.
His trainer was there today. Lewis Taylor, who became Muslim from the PFL champion.
Yes.
He was there. So Herc is his trainer.
Oh.
So those guys are there.
Oh, I think I've seen him in like one of those training videos where he's there. Yeah. He's an older guy.
Yeah, he's in Will Harris's videos too when they won at Dubai.
Yeah.
He fought. He was there on that card helping Bilal Muhammad.
Yes.
So
Bilal, for those who don't know, Bilal Muhammad is a local UFC fighter.
Yeah.
He's been made
so he's at Milwaukee.
He's a made man.
No, he's in Chicago.
Okay.
He's in Chicago.
I know they were training in Milwaukee for a little bit. So.
He was. Yeah. So it was beautiful, man. He took his shahada.
So did you give his shahada?
So it's a beautiful story, to be honest with you. So I went and talked to him last Saturday.
Okay.
My brother was like, "Hey, come and talk." He has a bunch of questions about Islam. We think that'd be better if you just answer his questions.
See, His Holiness did it.
No, dude. It was 15 minutes.
Let him finish.
It was 15. I was like, all right, you know what? It'll only take like 15 minutes, inshallah. Because it seemed like he only had like 1 or 2 questions. We ended up talking for almost 3 hours, bro.
I mean, today or Saturday?
Brother. This is last Saturday.
Last Saturday, okay.
Cool?
Yeah.
So my brother, he works with my brother, Naveed. Naveed just opened up a new gym. I'm not trying to shamelessly plug, but I'm going to anyway.
MashaAllah.
He opened up a place called Gaines Fit Club.
Is it for women?
They have women's classes too.
Oh.
They have 6 classes throughout the day for men and 6 for women. They have a boxing trainer that's a female also. And so anyways, that being said, that's
plug
an Oak Brook.
Is out of the way.
So
that's an Oak Brook Terrace. That's an Oak Brook Terrace, inshallah. He wants to come on the podcast, so I might as well.
You're interrupting yourself now. We have some listeners. We have listeners who are upset that we interrupt you way too much, Sheikh.
No.
So,
don't call me Sheikh.
So by the way, go ahead. Please
so he
finish.
Was like, you know what? I want to take my shahada this Wednesday because I want some people to be there. I want this guy who's, my student, who's a trainer of Bilal Muhammad. I want him to be there. And Naveed, who's my oldest brother, he's like, hey, you know what? So who do you want, just to help you throughout the shahada and everything? He's like, guys, I want Mustafa, who's Naveed's son. He's like, I want him to do the shahada. And I was like, wow, subhanAllah. It's amazing how things work out because he's very, they work together basically. Mustafa does all like the checking and checking out in the front office.
That's your
of
nephew?
The gym. Yeah.
So how old is he?
He's about 18 now.
Okay.
Wow.
Yeah, and I was like, oh, do you know he memorized the Quran too? He's like, oh, he did. Yo, man, I want him to do my shahada and this and that.
Mustafa's half of that?
Yeah. Mashallah, yeah. So I basically gave a small talk. It happens.
What was it on?
It was just, witnessing somebody becoming Muslim it's inspiring. But I told him that while he was asking me questions, this is 100% truth. Last Saturday when he was asking me questions, I felt like I was untying certain things as my relationship with Allah is concerned too, right?
Oh, wow.
He didn't realize it, that he was asking me questions about Islam. He wants to become Muslim, but I'm starting to have some self-reflection while I'm talking to him, like real time. And I was telling him that. I was like, you didn't realize that you were doing me a favor by asking me these questions. And I only met you once, and I just felt like we just had this awesome connection. And I just walked through all that stuff with him. I said that, it's a beautiful thing witnessing. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala created Adam alayhi salam with the angels witnessing. So when this sunnah is revived, when somebody recognizes their creator, it's good to have people witness like the angels were witnessing Adam alayhi salam becoming the first of creation. And just to, make everything more of a reality and bringing it back to him in the crowd. Dude, when somebody becomes Muslim, especially in this pandemic when everybody's distancing and stuff, bro, it's like a nice... I completely forgot.
Did people go hug him after?
Yeah, we all did.
You probably gave him COVID.
Wait, no social distancing?
No, bro. Forget about social distancing for right now.
Hey,
dude.
by the way...
I completely forgot all about it, dude.
If you wanted more witnesses, how come we didn't get an invite?
Because we're not holy enough, dude.
Because I was supposed to be at the podcast by 9 o'clock, so I apologize, gentlemen, to all of you. Forget about the listeners. Who cares about them? I'm just going to apologize to you guys. I'm just joking, listeners.
Remember last week we told the listeners that I'm going to start locking them out? 15-minute rule. That's it. That's what our Shababis taught us when we were young.
Shababis. So, no, I apologize for that. I was supposed to be here by like 9,
So, did you tell Bilal to be on the show?
Bilal wasn't there. His trainer was there, but I got his connect, inshallah.
All right, good.
I got his connect.
Hopefully they do something right.
Oh,
Lewis
speaking
Taylor.
of which, hey, Joe Bradford just signed on. Sheikh, why don't you talk about who you met this week? Because of Joe. While you're on the roll.
Awesome.
Salam alaikum.
Is he on?
Yeah, he's on. He's like...
Sheikh Joe Bradford, barakallahu feek, man. I was able to get in touch with Sheikh Abdul Qadir, and I'm going to be making a phone call this weekend, inshallah. So you obviously Allah is the best of facilitators, but he used Maheen and yourself, Sheikh Joe and Sheikh Maheen al-Islam. So thank you, gentlemen. That was awesome. I never thought that I was going to meet him again.
For the listeners who don't know what we're talking about, he was mentioned on a previous episode a couple weeks ago, was it?
Last week.
Last week, okay.
And more detail you'll be able to find on Sultan the Sneakers.
And just Maheen, in passing, mentioned him, and Amr...
Dude, that fits the description of the same Abdul Qadir I know. That's what I said to him.
Yeah.
I was like, but it can't be. It can't be the same guy.
And then you happened to meet him in the desert in Mauritania or something.
In 2002-ish, end of 2002, 2003. Yeah.
I'm laughing because he loves saying deserts because he's like, I was born in the desert.
I was in the deserts of Medina, bro. He was in the deserts of Mauritania. Which place is more blessed? Yeah, you guys all call him like shit.
Hold on, wherever Amr goes is blessed. So
maybe I was kind of in a sense, you know about Makkah and Medina having their own like will or ability to welcome people and eject people.
But remember,
so I was kind of ejected from Medina.
Exactly, so that you weren't holding enough to be there.
I was
yeah. Anyways, so let's kind of segue into something else. Let's segue into something else because people were asking us in the text.
Okay.
They're asking us about this whole bowling book thing.
Oh.
So listen, I'll be honest, dude.
Hang on.
I really don't know the whole thing. So why don't you
Can you play the clip?
Yes.
Why don't you pull that up?
So. I don't know. Do people? Is it a national story?
Wait.
It's not. But I don't. Should we actually play it because he's like in the middle of something right now?
Wait a minute.
And the last thing he probably wants is on a media outlet.
No. Wait a minute. First of all, I wouldn't play the clip for one reason. If it was something he did yesterday or an hour ago, okay. But this is something the guy did 4 years ago.
I heard it was 2020.
April 2020 man, people were saying...
resurfaced. It was like 3 years ago, but it resurfaced now in some meme.
Yeah.
Someone rehashed it.
Yeah, and so what I'm thinking is that kid is... If you look at him, he's young too, right? Lord knows I've said so much dumb... Even right now I say dumb stuff. I mean, I'm surprised I haven't got canceled yet. Right? I mean, so... I know when I was his age... I said a whole lot of stupid things. And the benefit... Alhamdulillah, we didn't have the internet like that
Oh yeah,
dude. If there was the internet when I was his age, dude, I think my dad would have probably disowned me by now. Like I probably would have been honor killed. Like,
what about you, Maheen?
Even
would you be honor killed?
Dude, I think the Me Too movement would have gotten me like 20 years ago.
Yeah, I mean, I would have been killed. So,
what?
So what I'm saying?
Wait, does that petition have that thing on? Because there's a petition
Yeah,
to remove
no,
him.
it doesn't have the video. They said there's some screenshots, whatever. But the video came later. I'm saying we can talk about it, but out of the respect for a guy who, because people can change a lot in 4 years, especially when you're 17, 18 years old. Especially when you become like 23.
But he's
24.
23 now or something.
Yeah,
right?
so
he's still so young.
Yeah, but I'm saying you can still, even in that 4 years, you can change so much. I mean, imagine if I look back 10 years from now, when I was 30 years old, or when I was 29 years old, I wouldn't even think about I don't even think remotely near how I thought, right? Yeah. So I want to cut that guy some slack. So don't play that clip right now. Okay. Right.
I completely agree with that. One thing I want to say is, look. Someone may think that.
Can you guys give a context about what exactly happened?
We will.
So that the listeners don't know what we're talking about.
So this is what I know. Apparently, there's a young imam at a masjid in the Bolingbrook community, which is in a western suburb of Chicago, Illinois. And apparently, it's a relatively new community. They built a nice, fabulous masjid over there. And they have a youth program, and it's really run in a modern way. Like, the board is young people. It's not everything's very modern. I mean, they have a whole shura council, online meeting minutes, and online donations, and everything's just real, tip-top the way it should, run like a business, okay? And I know that because I used to live out in the community, so I know the guys that originally started it off. And so anyways, there's a leader in the community who was hired or made part of the community because he was a hafiz of the Quran, and he studied in the madrasa, and he helps out with the youth and things like that, right? So apparently, a video or a meme of his resurfaced.
It was an Instagram post.
Yeah, an Instagram post that he made years ago. Made a meme about something, and it was reposted, and someone from that community recognized it, and now they made a petition, and they just want to cancel the hell out of the guy. I don't feel safe anymore. He objectified women, and oh my god.
What did he exactly say in the video? Something about hijab.
You know what he does is he basically just called out the stuff that we always see, right? Eid Salah is a fashion show. Right after Ramadan, people are how during Ramadan, after Ramadan, right? People do all those memes. He was talking a little about now. Yes, did he use certain language that other people would not like? I mean, or terminologies? Maybe I don't have a problem with it. I mean, he said hijabi, and someone didn't like that. Okay, I get it. It can be understood that maybe disrespectful, but I think in the context of the language that people speak in his age group and this generation, it's fairly common to say that, right? I mean, they're making a distinction between real.
But he's in a position of leadership. Was he in a position of leadership at that point when he made that video?
I don't think
that's understood.
No. And just let me say one thing, guys, and for the listeners, we're not trying to make this a gossiping session. This is not what this is. It's about cancel culture. It's about being fair to people. It's about giving people second chances. The cancel culture doesn't want people to have chances, dude. That's a big problem.
Well, one thing about
I honestly, even sorry to cut you off, I just feel uncomfortable even talking about it because the people are even the people that claim that they didn't claim. He did say the N-word without pronouncing the R, and I bet those same people that have a problem with it in Urdu, and pardon my language, bro, I'm pretty sure they say kala and kallu and all that stuff all the time. Indians and Pakistanis say that word all the time, which basically means the N-word, right?
Yeah, but you know
and I bet those people say it all the time just because it's not in English. They think it's totally cool.
But you know what's funny? I remember in the petition itself, I sent you guys the screenshot. There's 10 people from Pakistan. They're signing on.
What was up with that?
I don't know.
The people from the board contacted people from Pakistan. They sent it on WhatsApp to sign our petition.
No, someone probably tweeted it out on their Twitter, and then some random dude from Pakistan who's trying to slide in DMs was okay, let me just like this post and then sign for it, right? But what if some guy in Pakistan doesn't know I have knowledge about this stuff, right?
But overall, it wasn't that high of a percentage. It was a small percentage. Most of them from America.
Yeah, but most of them I noticed were girls and young girls
someone's Relative?
Probably. Yeah. I don't want to make that thing of scrutiny because they're probably going to someone from that family watches the
he
show.
can get canceled now, so it doesn't matter.
No, I don't care if I get canceled. I just
His family's gonna cancel.
I just don't want someone. Look,
I mean, your family is so huge, though, right?
no, but not only that. Look,
Dude,
just because somebody's putting him under the
somewhere.
microscope,
Yeah.
and I know that they're doing something oppressive, I don't want the same thing to happen to that person. Also,
So let's
You know
go
what I'm
back to
saying?
the main thing here. That's for the same reason why I didn't want him to play the clip, was because of the fact that we're not Muslims don't have this cancel culture, right? Like Muslims make mistakes, and if you make tawbah to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, no one else can judge you.
Yeah.
And you know what this reminds me of? The hadith of remember when there was a person who had committed adultery, and they had executed the hudud on him, and some of the companions were bad mouthing that person, saying, "Oh, what a horrendous death! What he did! What a horrible thing he did!" Basically shaming him even after he was dead, because he was from Rajab. And the Prophet ﷺ explained to them that his sins were erased for that. I mean, expiated from that because of the fact that he endured that, and he's probably, I can't remember the full
so
fact.
swimming
maybe
in the oceans of heaven in Jannah. Yeah.
Right, and the idea is that there's forgiveness for everybody.
Yep.
And if you make tawbah and Allah accepts that tawbah, who are you to question that person?
Yeah.
You're going to cancel everything good? I mean, how many times, if we go back to books of history and scholars and tafsir and take every imam or every figure and pick apart their life, we would cancel everybody right now.
Yeah.
I mean, if you're going to cancel this stuff, like right now, certain women are canceling him because of the, derogatory comments about women, or because they're wearing, I always like booty tight, things. But
abaya, yeah.
Yeah, but you know what the thing is? I mean, weren't there some scholars that wrote books about like how the perfect woman was? I mean, like there were books written about love and hub, right? I mean, are they objectifying women now? Like, I'm not saying it's the same way. I don't want to confuse that.
It's not apples to apples. But what you're saying is that.
But one thing is that hold on. What I'm saying is that if you wanted to pick apart somebody, if you wanted to pick apart those imams, you could definitely do it and say, oh, he wrote that book because it's the patriarchy. Why didn't he write about the perfect male body? Why didn't he write about the perfect female body?
I'm going to pull up WhatsApp.
Whatever he did in that video was you can't make an excuse for it. It's just, you can make the excuse that he was young and he made a mistake. Yeah. In that regard, but in the content of it, it wasn't right. Especially the words he used to describe. Yeah. If you had a problem with curtain, I don't believe in this. A man can't tell a woman how or what she should wear regarding her Islamic attire. I'm completely against this notion of men not having this ability to tell what their Muslim sisters. Yeah. Well, just as much as sisters have the ultimate right that whether a man is wearing a proper Islamic attire or not, men should also have that same right. I don't believe in this thing that women are exclusive to that. So he should have used better terminology. He should have realized that he's a community leader, someone who's respected and looked up to. But sometimes the imams, and this goes up to even our most celebrity imams as well, they want to make a connection with the youth and they try a little too hard and they use the wrong words. And I think this is just an incident of him trying too hard to be relatable.
So here's the thing before you go on the 3-year thing. So it's got to be mentioned that they're also in the petition mentioning that his social, because they went back through social media and see the post he liked, and there was a lot of sexually explicit stuff that he liked in 2020.
It wasn't really explicit. I saw the guys. I mean, the people who were saying what stuff he liked, they were like stuff like memes and stuff like people. I mean. Dude, look, let's be honest for a moment.
But last thing is, but the dude, like, as far as I know, there has been because I have some people, they're like, it was 3 years ago, right? And they were like, well, if there's an apology, that's fine. But right now we haven't seen any apology. We just see the board suspended him for a week or something.
Yeah. So here's the thing. When you're talking about him being, the choice of words and things like that, and Imam trying to relate too much, the thing is that he wasn't an Imam at that time. He wasn't a community leader at that time. Yeah. Right? He was a young kid. Right, this kid's on the come up. Are we gonna see? And here's my fear. Okay, and I think Sheikh Joe just brought it up in the thing is the question in all this is not if it's wrong, but if there's redemption. And I think there's a bigger problem here. We gotta look at the scenario. We got a young kid at 23 years old. If we shun him and throw him away now and cancel him, where is he gonna go? Yeah, it's gonna push him away from Islam. I'm not saying he's going to become a murtad or a kafir, but his passion is going to get shot down. This kid obviously has some attachment to the masjid, to his religion, to whatever it may be. You're going to kill that fire, and instead of guiding him and saying, "Listen, we all made dumb mistakes younger."
That's the point right there.
You know
if we're a community and you actually love what's for the community because you're building this petition, what happened about helping him work through this? Like, we should be at the forefront of doing that if we actually love him as our brother, right? I think it's a beautiful point. More.
Yeah, I mean, it's not like he ate like Nanzabiha meat or something, right? So
bro, and I like that you brought up. Look, when people like things and all that, I don't know. I didn't see what he did. I didn't see what he liked, but there's one thing that has to be said about his age, and there's another on the other side of if you're a leader of a community, how you have to conduct yourself. Right, social media and all that kind of stuff, and you have to be very, very careful of what you view, what you like, whether you're an imam of a masjid or you're not an imam of a masjid. All that's very important. But the masjid has to be so careful that they hired a 23-year-old to be a leader of a community, like you were mentioning. Bro, no 23-year-old should be responsible for guiding a community or leadership position. You need wisdom, you need some hikmah. Prophethood started at the age of 40 for a reason, man. You know what I'm saying?
So let me just comment and clarify.
Hey, I'm about to be 40 soon.
Yeah. But the problem is you're not mentally 40. But listen, so
none of us are for a long time.
The thing is, though, I don't want to call him a leader like in the masjid. Meaning, yes, he might lead some salah because he's a hafiz, but I think in terms of like he's just involved, meaning that there's a rotation of people that brought on board. So
he's not the designated imam.
No. But he's part of the youth program and things like that. Like where he helps out, but he's not like the main go-to imam. I don't believe he is.
Thank you for that clarification.
Yeah. So I think the masjid is smart enough to know not to put some young kid.
Okay. Alhamdulillah.
I mean,
sorry, Bolingbrook community. Retract whatever you want me to do.
Make a retraction right now, yeah, Sheikh.
Before you get canceled. Before the Bolingbrook community cancels you.
Submit. Actually, hit submit. Don't hit cancel.
No. I think Arif Kamal used to be the imam over there for a while, right? So good guy. But anyways, point being is, I think that's where I think the conversation needs to be. Like, you know what? Are we going to
nurture his iman, dude?
Or exactly. Can we help him through that, right? Because if we let him understand that, hey, he might even know right now that what I said at that time was wrong, and I feel embarrassed by it. And if he genuinely feels that way, I think we should, help him through that and grow as a community and let, at least now you have to let them know, hey, look, you know what? People know you and they know you're human and, people make mistakes, but it's about what you do after this. Yeah. It's how you respond after this.
Yeah.
Right?
And if he ends up listening to this, don't mention his name. Bro, we got you covered. We're not here to gossip about you.
I want you to come on the show, to be honest, bro.
That the community, if they love you and they care for you, which I'm pretty sure they do, they're just confused on how to work with it right now. They should be helping you out, and we're trying to help you out. That's all it is.
Yeah, and if anybody out there is watching the show and you know the guy, tell him to get a hold of us, dude.
Speaking of getting people, to confront things on air, in the public, whatever their problems are, we all heard about. I don't really like to bring Ahl Kufar's things up on our shows. Things. Yeah, Ahl Kufar, they have this latest controversy with Will and Jada.
Yes.
Did you hear about this?
By the way, when I make those smirks, it's just I'm not being condescending. It's just we know each other for a long time. So I find it kind of funny when you do all these multiple plurals and everything. Ahl's Kufar's people's thing.
The Shababis.
Anyways, the Will and Jada.
So Will. Funny. So at first, you know what? I wanted to just make fun of them, and I'm like, you know what? Their situation is a little bit more different because all these people are talking smack about them. And for those who don't know,
can you revise this? Because I'm sorry, I was looking at the comments. I had a brain freeze. So what were you talking about?
So we're talking about Will and Jada going on air, going into the public eye, and clearing the air about Jada's affair.
Oh. Okay.
And Mahin wanted to talk about this, so I'm like, all right, you know what? Maybe we could put an Islamic spin on it and see what the Muslim reaction to Jada and Will.
Why are you so happy right now, man?
So what happened?
No, I haven't seen this happen in a long time.
Mahi loves salacious issues. Look at the face.
I know, dude. He's so happy right now.
He's bubbling with joy.
Look how happy. He looks like Hadia, dude. He's so happy. He looks like a little baby, dude. Looks like a 5-year-old.
He loves salacious issues.
So why don't we let you spearhead
Listeners, if you ever have any salacious stories, Sultans and Sneakers will always be open as a podcast platform for you. If you had any aberration.
To the point where all of his
aberrant
guests are going to be
behavior.
transgender for the next 2 years, right?
Yeah, no, I mean, the thing is, I didn't even know what this was. I mean, I didn't know there was a
Yeah.
thing going on between Will and Jada. I mean, I didn't even know what this whole thing was.
You don't
I
know
mean,
about Will and Jada, bro?
What the
No,
hell?
I
Oh my
Everyone
God,
knows.
where have you
dude.
been?
Look, when I get
They
in
had
the
to come to the
morning-
red table to
Hold
talk
on.
about
When
it.
I go in the morning, I go to news.google.com.
Why are we friends with him?
And I look at like the politics, I look at like the COVID stuff, I look at the market and the health stuff. I don't watch the entertainment stuff. I don't care about
That's
these
all
dumb
boring.
No, that's cool. You're right.
By the way,
it's
our thing
definitely a
is,
waste of
they're
time.
saying our feed is choppy.
Walayadu billah. Who's watching TV upstairs? It's just late at night.
Oh wait, and you mean at the crib here?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. I mean,
I don't know. Well,
anyways, we'll keep going. So what's interesting to me is like how like Jada spun everything. Like I became aware of the Will and Jada stuff from like the Red Pill Bros, like Rollo Tomasi, this guy named Pat Stedman,
Yeah.
these people on Twitter, and it's like it's called the emasculation of Will Smith on like national TV or
I think it froze.
internet, right?
yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So so basically it was like how it's a women's world, how everything is like how she defines this frame, right? You know, boy Fahim always talks about frame, right? So he's, you know, in the beginning she's basically talking about, well, it's all love. So number one, she establishes that like, oh, you know, everything I did is because it's about love, like it's a general thing. And then she spun it. She was like, and it gave me a lot of healing. And I was like, healing, man, dude was all up in you. Is that healing? Right? Dude, you're not married.
But technically, they were separated at that time. They were like...
No, they were taking a break. They were taking
No,
a
he
break.
says that they thought it was over.
Yeah, but they were taking a break, right? But technically, they were still married. They were not like from our, you know, let's say, for example, let's say Will and Jada were Muslim. They were, I mean, their nikah would have still, they didn't get a divorce. They were just separated,
Yeah.
right?
But
So
I
they
don't
still
think
had the
Ahlul Kufar operate that way anyway.
Yeah,
right?
that's true. That's
they-
a good point. So I don't, you know, I don't know why Will was so upset by it. Anyways, you know, now you mentioned that, but the idea was because he was like trying to say like, well, you transgress. He's like, no, I don't think it was a transgression. That's what she was kind of saying. So she was basically justifying all
What was
of
the
it.
word she was using? She was using some word about not... He didn't say...
Entanglement.
entanglement.
It was an
Yeah.
entanglement.
I was like, what?
As soon as, for some reason, as soon as you said that, I was thinking of like jujitsu. I was like, what?
I mean, I'm still laughing at Ahlul Kufar.
No, he didn't say Ahlul Kufar. He's like the Ahlul Kufars.
He goes, yeah, are you Ahlul Kufar?
Yeah, but
No, I know what you mean, yeah.
But I think it pops up now as we understand, you know, relationships and the way male female dynamics work. Is that what if it was on the other foot? What if Will had gone off and had an affair with like a 23-year-old?
Oh, he would totally have been canceled.
That's the point. That's the whole thing. Like
And-
Jada, you know.
Yeah, yeah. And then, like, towards the end of it, he was saying, oh, well, I got you back, too. Like, well, what are you alluding to? You had an affair as well? Or because he wouldn't elaborate. What,
Yeah,
but yeah, I got you back. Like,
Yeah, I'm gonna get you back or something.
no,
I'm
he
joking.
said he got her back.
Right. So
But when you said something
so
interesting.
she legit had an affair?
Yeah,
Yeah.
she admitted to it.
yeah,
They were supposed to be like separated at the time. They weren't.
they were
they
taking
thought
like
it
a
was
break.
basically
They're taking like a
over.
break.
Yeah,
you
I
know?
personally don't care about like I really want to know what was happening. Like, okay, this is like I've been seeing it like all these places. I actually want to know what happens when they come to the red table and talk. It was just kind of weird. What was that thing she was saying? Like, there's one thing that you mentioned that you said something, and I want you to elaborate. What do you mean it's a woman's world?
Because of how everything is like. So, for example, right? Like how high is the divorce rate in America? Pretty high, right?
Mm-hmm.
So when you think about like how many friends do we have? Like, you know, you and I, we have friends, not in this room, but like people that we know who got divorced. I know a brother who's got like he sees his kid like 4 weeks out of the year, right? And it's his wife got knocked up by some other dude while they're married, right? It's like if there's any cause of like who was at fault, I mean, duh. But like that's the way it's framed. And I was there was a couple that was going through they're going through some issues. Actually, there was a divorce, and they asked me to come in and try to reconciliate. They being like the women's side, right?
They asked you of all people?
Yeah. I used to be in peer mediation in high school, actually.
Really?
Yeah, yeah.
Were you really?
Yeah. I was a
A
peer.
Republican peer mediator. Interesting.
No,
Yeah.
dude, I think it's one of those things. He's probably really good at it. He just jokes around with this, but I think when he comes on, he's probably pretty serious.
No,
Yeah.
because he's blunt, so it works.
So how does this peer mediation work?
So like, you know, some sister came to me and like, and my wife, and wanted to talk and like kind of expose like, hey, this is what's going on, right? And so I went and spoke to the brother, and you know, he was like checked out. But from his frame of view, he's also factoring in that, listen, if I continue with this relationship, if I go back into it, and if I have kids, and it's already kind of rocky, now when I have kids, I'm really opening myself up. I'm exposed. You follow what I'm saying? Because if the marriage, because it's already rocky, and that's why I that's why I gave her the divorce, right? And let's say I take her back, and then we have children, you know, it's these issues aren't fixed, right? Who ends up getting away? The custody always goes to the mother in that way, right? There's always it seems like whenever there's a divorce, there's always this narrative that who's the guilty party is more often the husband than the wife. That's what I see at least.
You know what the cool thing about Europe is that by default it's 50-50. Like in America it's opposite. Like usually the default claim is going to be for the woman, right? But let me just talk about this for a minute, dude.
There we go.
I mean, I can't understand what kind of man would look at a woman who cheated on him. Like, I would never look at that woman the same. A woman, I mean, how do I know you're not banging the mailman? Or you're not, I mean, how do I know who you're not banging? I mean, at the end of the day, I will never trust you. Every time I look at your face, I'd be like, you're a cheater. Like, you're disgusting. I would look at her like she's a prostitute. I'm sorry. I would just be like, you know what? I can never trust you again.
Hey, these are old, like, Neanderthal principles, okay? We've evolved
call me a sexist,
as human beings,
absolutely.
okay?
I'm the patriarchy. I don't care.
Jeez, what is this guy thinking?
Look, but
Times have changed,
I don't know
man.
how anybody...
You have to have mercy.
Look,
You have to love people.
If somebody is willing to accept that, you might as well just be a cuck and have someone, you know, just smash your wife in front of you.
Whoa.
I mean, no, I'm serious. There's no difference between that. If you're gonna allow someone to get away with that and be like, yo, you know what? I mean, no, but on a real principle, how do you actually trust that person again?
Yeah.
There's no way. Could you trust somebody that cheated on you?
I mean, it depends.
What the hell?
But he's like, is she hot?
But I don't care if this woman was like, I don't know, Penelope Cruz, bro.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter. If you cheat on me, you are done. Like, I hate you. I want you to you don't exist to me no more.
No.
I mean, I don't even want you to call me, text me, look at me. Don't even breathe near me. Bye. You know what I mean? Like, I mean, no, I'm serious. Loyalty.
The accent changed a little bit when you said bye.
That's bye Felicia. That's what he's trying to do. You know bye Felicia from?
No.
No?
Yeah, this happened always in Egypt, so don't worry about it. He's not
He
gonna get
doesn't
it.
know the bye Felicia.
It's okay.
It's okay.
What's wrong with your ass? Anyway, listen. Look, the thing is though, I mean, for me, I think loyalty is especially for men. One of the reasons why in Islam we have this concept of ghira and not being at the youth is because any rational man would feel like, I mean, like someone punched him in the balls or in the stomach. If someone's looking at his woman or like getting even aroused by that, it would bother them, right? Yet alone sleep with her. Like, I'm sorry, dude. That's unforgivable to me.
Can you explain what the youth means? I think there's a lot of white people. Like,
the youth is
American
someone-
Muslims don't know this
T-H-E
stuff.
space Y-O-U-T-H.
D-A-Y-O-O-T-H. The youth. It sounds like
I was joking.
The
I
youth.
said
Anyways,
the youth.
Oh yeah.
The thing is,
It means a cuckold, someone who
it means
enjoys.
someone who basically has no shame over the women around his women folk, his wife, daughter, mother.
No protectiveness.
No,
and is okay
no
with-
ghira, and he's not ashamed that people are looking at her or speaking ill of her or sexual about her. And these people will not enter paradise. I mean, these kind of people are like a certain type of people, because more than likely they're like probably pimping out their daughters and their mothers. I mean,
it's not even that extreme. It's people who just don't have any protective jealousy over.
No,
their,
but I'm
over,
saying
over
it's more
their
than
women
likely someone who's doing that is probably encouraging his women folk to make haram.
Yeah.
I mean, more than
But
likely.
does this? Pardon me, I'm a little slow, but does this have something to do with the whole women's world thing? I'm still like trying to understand. Is it only on a divorce level of custody?
No. What he's saying, he's right in some way, because right now in the Me Too movement and this whole leftist feminist movement, the idea is that women have sexual freedom too. If men cheat all the time and women go back to them, so why can't women cheat and men also go back to them? Mm-hmm. Right? Like, we all do it, right? But it's not dude, biologically and even like by historically, it's very uncommon for a woman to be like that way like a man is, right? I mean, a man can have, you know, in our context, have 4 wives, or, you know, in their context, he can go out and, you know, have a girlfriend, go to the strip club. Women generally, they don't get turned on by this stuff. Generally, they stay away from it. They're monogamous.
Because they like the emotional security.
They're hypergamy, right? I mean, they may look to upgrade, but they're never going to be at the same time concurrently like trying to, you know, be around with different men, right? Mm. And there's even
except now the trend has changed on this.
Well, now they're encouraging this behavior in women with the rise of the sexual revolution.
Yeah. But even when they encourage it, though, it's usually with a lot of these more abused women, people who have rocky backgrounds, you know.
Well, I'm gonna be someone will get mad, but it's also the spinsters, the ones that are like 40 years old and got no goddamn children, and they spent the whole life just, you know, messing around, and now they justify it by saying, I'm sexually free, I'm an independent woman, oh, I'm breaking the patriarchy, I'm shattering the glass ceiling.
Wow.
All this nonsense.
I like all the examples you got.
But the expression with it too is rolling your eyes.
Because that's what they do. They think they've accomplished something, but no, woman, you are alone by yourself, sitting with your 10 cats, eating dinner by yourself. You are miserable. Your womb has dried up. You have no heir. You have no offspring.
Now he's even more happy. This is the only time he laughs.
I'm sorry. Like, your value as a woman, I'm sorry, to a male who's potentially looking to mate with you is low because you can't produce anything anymore. You've given your childbearing years, you've lost them. You've sacrificed them because you thought you were being independent. You thought
Keep
you
loving this rant.
No, it's true though. I'm sorry. I'm not trying to. I mean, some women have reasons for that, right? I'm talking about women who consciously make that decision, right? They thought they were being smart and they were independent. And
Mort,
they were being...
can I ask you a serious question? No, I'm being serious.
Did you rehearse that?
Did you rehearse that? No, he didn't rehearse it.
Mort used to be a freestyle rapper. You know that, right?
You know how Mort started, bro? Before I continue the question, Mort.
He used to hang out with Immortal Technique.
No, he said no. Forget about freestyle. And then on AOL chat, what was it? What was it? AOL chat called again? The AOL Messenger.
I guess AIM. Yeah.
He used to do the
freestyle.
freestyle.
I remember he used to try to message me his rhymes because he couldn't freestyle. So I'd come back after eating, looking at some other stuff. I'd come back and just like, you know.
Copy and paste it. I didn't know about copy and pasting back then.
What copy paste what?
Look how serious you got. Anyways, Mort. So after that rant that you said, this is a serious question because I think people should know. Do you respect women or do you not respect women? After that,
is that a real question?
It's a real question.
I respect women that deserve to be respected.
Oh, very good. So,
right? Because it's like I don't respect every man.
Yeah, just
you
like
have
men.
principles.
Yeah,
you have principles.
Exactly. So what I'm saying is that I'm not saying that there are women out there who have unfortunate circumstances. I'm not talking about them. I'm talking about the women that rode that leftist wave, and the left told them, "You're going to be free. You're going to be great. You don't need a man. You don't need..." You know, there's a woman called Erin Pizzey, and she talks about this. She was an early pioneer of the feminist movement, and she says the objective of the movement early on was to move away from capitalism being the enemy to making the other gender the enemy, to telling women that the family is no longer man, woman, and child. It's just mother and child now, and that women are free to do what they want to do. And what I'm saying is that a lot of these women now, they're ending up miserable, and they can mask it around with all these slogans of being independent and you know unbreakable, all the stupid terms they throw around, like these dumb terms that make themselves feel better. You know, don't fat shame me. You know, I mean, all these crazy things just to feel better. All the empowerment. Have you ever thought about why they need all these empowerment groups? Because they're feeling like crap. If you aren't feeling like crap, you don't need empowerment, right? I'm already empowered, right? A lot of these women who are confident and strong, they are in relationships as mothers, as wives, as children. I mean, who have children.
I'll tell you what will break all of this on its face. What's happening right now with COVID-19 and the impending breakdown of the economy and all the economic slowdown that will break down the security that some of these people who think that they're independent and they want to break free of men and they don't need their man anymore. And, well, guess what? What will happen when the fabric of society starts falling apart? Where is it going to be your security that you were so dependent on and that you threw away in favor of feminism and you wanted that?
So I'll tell you this. If society collapses, right, do you know how... I feel bad for them, but do you know how quickly women are going to get abused? I'm sorry to say that. I mean, this whole idea of you being independent and strong and doing it by yourself. I'm sorry, woman. You're gonna need a man to protect you.
That's what you mean. Okay, good.
No,
good,
I'm
good.
saying like let's go back in the time where you couldn't go out and just call the police for help. Or you couldn't, or you know, walking alone at nighttime was a problem because people saw you as, you know, fresh meat. Like, now, I'm not talking about sexually. We're talking about the food you have on you, the money you have on you, the clothes, even your shoes you have
Open
on
target,
you.
yeah.
Right.
Use a target,
you are a target, right? It's, you know, big fish eat little fish, right? So what I'm saying is, if it ever collapses and gets to that point where, you know, people are going and breaking people's homes for food, women will be a target. And this independent
Women
thought
and
that
children,
you
you're right.
have
Yeah, innocence.
about how you're equal to man, you will know very quickly that you're not equal to men. And I'm not saying that women don't have a place. Women are very strong in other ways. But stop trying to make yourself equal. Here's my thing. Don't make a woman's worth be dependent on her equality to a man.
Yeah.
Because you're never going to be equal to us, and we're never going to be equal to you.
Yeah. Yeah.
Right? You are a woman, and your worth is given to you already by your creator.
Yeah.
It's given to you as you are.
Yeah.
You don't have to change it. You don't have to make anything. Now, if you're fighting for your rights to be a woman, I'm with you.
Yeah.
We don't want you to be abused or oppressed, fine. But if you're fighting for your right to be touched, somehow be equal to me,
Yeah.
in every way, it's not going to happen.
Yeah.
So I'm not going to put myself behind some dead cause, some unrealistic cause.
Yeah.
It's not going to.
That's why I asked that question originally about respecting women, because I wanted you to clarify what you just did, what you just said right now. Because when you go on a rant like that, people just shut their minds off and don't realize and ask you for your other principles too that cause you to have.
Well, they can go back to the show we did with those feminist girls, and they could find out how I feel about it. No, I mean, I relate it down. If they give me a plan of action, we'll look at it and say, okay, yeah, we agree with this, we don't agree with that. I'm not just going to sign on board and be like, yeah, world girl power. You know, like, yeah, you know, no.
And you
Maheen
know,
has been very happy today. This is awesome.
I'm at a very happy place, yeah.
Morty, you brought up a really important point that got really could have gotten lost in the fray. You said something about one of these women who was saying that we need to remove capitalism as the
feminist woman,
as the enemy and put the gender war.
Yeah.
Now, this is an important thing that we need to kind of beat into our brain, that when these intersection wars happen, whether it's man versus woman or between the different races and things like that, who always gets ignored? The capitalist, the one who's abusing them. Well, what happens when all these in these corporations, when they're building up diversity, or in college campuses where they're trying to build up affirmative action? You know, I'm not saying everything is bad, but I'm just saying when these debates are happening, who's still benefiting in all this? It's always the capitalists, the people who are making money at the top, the people who ultimately see the inherent truths, like what you just talked about. You know, well, in the breakdown of society, the ultimate power will belong to the people who have might, strength, wealth, money, status, connections, knowledge. You know, all these things are the inherent truths of what build humanity, you know? And the people who don't recognize these truths, they get destroyed. These critical race theorists, the people who will get gobbled up in the moment society falls apart because they don't recognize these truths. Why do you think the U.S. government and the think tanks of the world, they completely ignore these hocus pocus theories because they recognize the inherent truth of what society is built on. They recognize thousands of years of how humanity has survived, what they recognize as ultimate power, why nuclear weapons are so important, and that why disarmament and things like that are a pipe dream, because people want power. They know the one who holds the biggest stick will be able to dictate the terms.
Yeah.
It's still the same rules as a playground when we were kids. When we saw the bully on the playground, the biggest kid, he was always the one who was the most respected, the most feared, the one who had the most money because he was able to steal it from other kids. Those inherent truths still hold true on a macro level, and that's what these maniacs, these people who have infiltrated Muslim MSAs across Australia, they're teaching kids complete crap.
Ooh, shots fired.
Yeah,
Australia.
they are.
No,
I'm sorry.
but here's the thing. Listen.
Don't apologize.
Wait, one thing. I just want to say this
brother.
though, real quickly though,
What a
is
guy.
that
I had to hold back.
the
I was
fact
on. I was on the verge of swearing.
Wait, no, the fact that you get to talk about CRT or or gender issues or whatever it may be, right? This is a luxury because of the fact that people who were mighty and strong laid down the law and created the society that you have today.
Yeah.
Right? It's kind of like this argument that we have when I apply it to this argument that we have as a second generation being in America, right? We have the luxury to argue about, are you Salafi or Sufi or do you have this masjid or that
I know
masjid?
what you mean by that,
But
yeah.
earlier on, the people who came here didn't have that luxury. They just had to make a masjid.
Yep.
Right? They used all the resources, combined the effort, and fought their way through and made it happen. That work, that struggling, that blood, sweat, and tears is what gave you and now today the luxury to argue about things that inherently wouldn't matter if they start shutting down masjids.
Yeah.
You would be like, oh my God, if the masajid started shutting down, you wouldn't care about whether it's a mosque that has an all-female panel or not, or a female prayer space. You wouldn't care about it, right? You wouldn't care about these things, right? You would care, we need to have a place to pray. So, to put things in perspective, what Sim is saying is that might is right. Meaning that people who have the power, people who control things, people able to lead, and some of this is biological. This is what some of these people don't want to admit. Men have certain features that are different than women, and women have certain features that are different than men. And each can excel in their own way. And that's why the Quran says there are garments to one another.
Yeah.
Why is it a garment? Because you can't just cover the left side and have the right side open, right? You got to be covered. You got to be clothed, right? Both sides have to be equal in their length in order for it to come by and actually bond and make a garment for you, right? You cannot just have one or the other. But when you try to take away the other, what happens? If you pull this garment too much here, it's not going to be, it's going to move a different way. So Allah has created a balance, but they're trying to mess with that balance. Why?
Yeah.
Because they feel like that they know better, and they feel like and the worst part about it is they're trying to make people believe that our cause of Islam is social justice activism, right? That we are SJWs, that this is what Islam is about. No, Islam is not about social justice activism. It's about Islamic activism. Yeah. Right? We have our own concepts of what we believe is equal and what's not equal. What's fair, what's unfair. What's halal and what's haram. Right? You don't dictate to us what is that. And right now they're trying to change that. Right? They're trying to say, listen, whether these new things today are different, so we gotta adapt and we've gotta think about how we are, out there how we're being represented right now. And I feel like sometimes they're ashamed of their own religion, and so they try to change it to adapt to become more friendly or to be accepted by a certain group of people, a certain persuasion. Yeah. And I feel like, you know what, that can happen on the right or the left. It's not about just the left here, right?
Or it can happen for old Dixie men.
Yeah, the old, speaking of ISNA. You know
oh my God.
Yes.
Amr, Chef, from you have one of your cousins, Saeed M. Saeed. I think that's your cousin, right? He's the president of ISNA.
No, he spells it S-A-Y.
Oh, it's your cousin?
E-E-D. No, he spells it different.
Salam alaikum, Dilly. What's good, bro?
What up? Hold on, wait. Dilly, why are you ripping? Well,
what's
I'm
the
not
dilly,
ripping.
yo?
I'm not ripping. Yeah, we say dilly. Yo, that's old, by the way. We say dilly, what's the dilly, yo? That means like what's happening. I don't know if you guys have it in the UK. But anyways, I'm not just ripping the SJWs. I'm saying that we're not an SJW culture. Like Islam doesn't have that. We have an Islamic culture. We have Islamic activism. Yeah. SJWs today are gonna rant for the right for gender equality, and for all kinds of things. Trans equality. I'm not about that, bro. Yeah. And so take it how you want to. At the end of the day, I'm a Muslim, and I'm unapologetically a Muslim.
Yeah.
But
he's not related to me.
So go ahead, tell us about your thoughts on
your cousin.
Yeah,
he's
your
not
cousin.
My cousin.
Yeah. Your uncle.
No.
So basically, before we get to Saeed M. Saeed, I think that's his middle name, initial M.
Maybe.
Remember Irhab?
I can't remember.
bin
Irhab?
Irhab bin Irhab. We went to a scholar conference at Irhabi bin Irhab. Remember that?
Irhabi.
War, the son of the war.
Irhabi is terrorist.
Yeah, there was a guy. Remember, Chef? I told you
Ihab.
we went to that Amja conference.
His name was Ihab.
No, his name was Irhabi ibn Irhab, and I said, "Hey, Chef Amir,
No, is it?
why is his name terrorist, son of terrorist?" And he's like, his name literally Irhabi means terrorist, and I'm like, I showed him the program, and I'm like, am I seeing this right? Irhabi means terrorist, right?
I don't remember this, to be honest.
Wallahi, I showed it to you, bro.
Wait, maybe I forgot, bro.
Hayatullah.
He said Wahayaka.
No, he's a Wahayat. He's trying to be like the Palestinians, the Ramallah Wallah, bro.
Anyway, that's a very, I mean, maybe they use it in different context. The word jihad is used, the name jihad, like something like that. Sometimes.
But anyway, so not unlike.
But can we
change the
have
entire subject.
Can we have the holiness addressed?
No, not holiness. No.
Saeed M. Saeed released a statement. The president of ISNA released a statement saying that Hagia Sophia being converted back to a mosque from a museum is illegal and wrong and should not be allowed. And President Erdogan we should be condemned in the strongest possible terms. I'm just summarizing here. Yeah. Maybe he didn't exactly use those terms, but basically, the president of ISNA, which is in effect for people who are international or listening in UK, they are the MCB of America. They have the most political clout, I guess. Do they? I don't know. But they have a considerable amount of influence among Muslims. They are able to.
They're the Okie-doke.
They're like the oldest organization.
Yeah,
probably,
they used to be kingmakers, but now I consider the Mad Mamluks being kingmakers after so many people have become popular after coming on the show.
They're like the Okie-dokes.
What's the Okie-doke?
Okie-doke is like that.
They're no longer kingmakers.
Like the white guy in the neighborhood with the lawnmower and the khaki shorts and the MAGA hat and like just mowing the lawn. Hey Bob, how you doing? Right, that's like the Okie-dokes. Like,
so he made a political statement, which is completely out of left field because they don't necessarily make these type of statements. They're traditionally aligned with leftist movements and with the Democratic Party, just like how in the UK the MCB is more traditionally aligned with the Labour Party or whatnot. But
everyone's worried, bro. They want to take a side. They want to make sure they don't ruffle any feathers. Look, before we even get into all that, you have to understand the reality of what's happening on that political level. I personally didn't even read all of ISNA's the whole paper. I personally, out of all of this, I think it's a distraction. I don't really care, to be honest with you, about what's happening. But I think in order to answer this, even Islamically, we have to understand, number one, and I think you're more fit for this too, and you probably have a nice, robust explanation. Number one, why would Erdogan himself make the statement in a time like now? What's happening? Why does he have to make that statement? And why is he making this huge announcement of changing it back to a masjid when it was a museum? He has amazing ties with Russia. He has the trades with Israel, saying that he's gonna do next Masjid al-Aqsa. Does he really mean all of this?
Well, Erdogan, I will say, let's just give him credit where it's due. He has, for years, he's been removing the secular influence on Turkish society. He's funded programs that are related to religious education, whether or not, there's and there was an article from Foreign Policy today saying that education program, that religious education program is lacking or whatever. But
yes,
put that aside,
he
has been removing the hallmarks of secular Ataturk's marks that he's left on, and he's been systematically removing it. And removing Hagia Sophia from its museum status was the most natural thing to do under the current thing. And I don't want to go through all the different points because Dilly and his co-editor Roshan went through this and I published the episode on the Mad Mamluks podcast. Go back and check it out. It's on the audio only platform, or you can check it out on Five Pillars YouTube channel. It's a fantastic debate, and they've both came out with many different things, and even Roshan, who was presenting the alternate argument, made me think of things in a different way. So I really encourage people to listen through that podcast and draw your own conclusions, but draw the right conclusion that the Hagia Sophia is properly established as a mosque, and may Allah elevate Mehmed II, who conquered it, and there's a hadith related to the person who conquers Istanbul, not Constantinople. That's nobody's business but the Turks, and let them figure it out.
Yeah,
No,
so
I agree,
so I'm gonna I was letting you guys.
And by the way, I'm sorry to cut you off. I just didn't say that. Sorry, that was really bad to cut you off. But I'm not saying it like, oh, Erdogan, he's some bad guy. That's not what I'm saying. I'm saying that there's a lot of other things that happen, and with the Pope and everyone speaking out against what he did and all the other connections that are made.
It's all look. In the end, it's all irrelevant, in my opinion, because Sultan Muhammad II bought.
He did.
Bought the church from the whether or not they have the proof for that or not. It's part of a historical record that he bought it, and that's what the Turkish court said.
So this is why I want to. There's two things here. I kind of wanted to wait till you guys were done because I want to just rant on this for a second.
Yes.
Oh boy, here we go.
No, I'm saying like this. So
no, I like it.
Here's the thing.
You have the floor, sir.
There's two dynamics here. All right, there's politics and there's religion. Religiously, if that church wasn't purchased, then I don't believe they should be making it into a masjid. Because Islamically, they're allowed to have their places. Now, apparently people are saying it was purchased. They're saying the government is saying it's purchased. Is that true? Allahu Alam. I'm going to take their word for it, right? And say it was, they have documents and receipts. Somebody posted some information about that. Granted. Okay. Now, can they make it now into a masjid? Of course they can. It was a masjid before when Ataturk came, and he just what he did was
it's been a masjid for a long time.
Ataturk came and he closed it down and made it into a museum, and he actually removed the plaster that was there to expose the pictures, the iconography that was there before, right, in the Hagia Sophia.
He's talking about the pictures of Mary and Jesus and things like that.
So then it became, it was opened as a museum, and now Erdogan declares it as a masjid. Now, politically, what is the significance of that? Well, this is how I look at it politically. Putting religion aside for a minute. I don't care what you think about it. Other people, it's not your place. It's not your country. Do you open your mouth when Jerusalem is under attack by the Israelis? No, right? So shut your mouth, right? You're not Turkish. I don't care. Listen, when did the Europeans care so much about Turkey? They only want Turkey there because they're in the EU for economic reasons. Yeah. They never want a Muslim majority country in the part of the EU as a voting power. So you know what? Screw you.
Yeah. And what about the mosques in Andalus?
Yeah, Andalus.
All the mosques that were made in churches. Where are all the Muslims that are fighting for the reconversion? And then they say, "Oh, two wrongs don't make a right, Sim."
No, but to be honest, look, for me, I think it's a political statement. It's a morale booster for the Muslims. Take that.
Take it with
and you know what,
victory.
by the way, there's this guy named David Wood. He's a retard. He's like, I'm happy. No, he's a retard.
The one who debated
I heard stupid idiot David Wood. If you're listening to the show, you're a dumb idiot. Okay, I'll tell you why. You made a video today talking about how you're happy that it became the masjid because now the Muslims can't complain about tolerance anymore. No, idiot. All right, it was a masjid. Right? You want to talk about tolerance? Then talk about how the UAE is building Hindu temples and churches and all that stuff. When one of your Christian organizations builds one masjid, come talking about tolerance. But that's a masjid. It had even to be honest, if you look at the history of the Hagia Sophia, Catholics fought the Orthodox fought the different, there's a schism, they fought each other for the land. Catholics destroyed that place for once.
Bro, it was in ruins before the Ottomans took it. The Ottomans restored it.
So he's trying to make it sound like, oh, you see, the Muslims don't want tolerance anymore because Turkey was used as an example for where Muslims and Christians got to be along. No, you stupid idiot David Wood. you stupid Trinitarian idiot.
Okay. Let's focus on David Wood. We got to get back to Sayyid and Sayyid. I'm not done grossing him.
Because people who listen to this show also listen to these debates that people have with this. And I want them to know that point that David Wood made is completely irrelevant because there are many places in the world, demonstrable places in the world where Muslims are in majority in power and they protect churches. For example, like Egypt, in Kuwait, in the UAE, other places in the world, in Pakistan,
churches are much
Indonesia,
better protected
Malaysia,
than Mexicans.
you name it, it's there. They have it. So yes, churches and mosques are side by side, and there are other churches in Turkey that are there besides Hagia Sophia. So no, the problem is you Christians got weak, fought each other, you lost Constantinople, became Istanbul, and now you're crying about it 1400 years later. There's 1.8 billion of us. You're not going to get rid of us. All right? I mean, so don't worry about Turkey. Let them decide for themselves what they want to do. You worry about other countries and Europe.
Look at what I just found here.
Go ahead.
What happened?
Look here.
Go ahead. What?
Join our newsletter. No, don't that. Don't join their newsletter.
Oh,
Saeed M. Saeed here.
Can you read this?
Holy Land Christian Ecumenical Foundation. Am I pronouncing it?
Ecumenical. That's the holy thing.
So anyway, so basically, mashallah, Sayyid M. Saeed, the Dalai Lama of Muslims himself, is made a lot of olive branches to the Christian community. So he has become the torchbearer of speaking for all Muslims on what the Hagia Sophia status should be. Sheikh Amr, can I make takfir on this man?
Astaghfirullah. No, you can't make takfir.
Don't make takfir with uncle.
I asked him, Yahi. I did say I am making
Leave his family out of it.
Okay, we're not going to make takfir on him.
Guys, look. Let's put it in perspective. I know you guys feel some frustration. I know you guys...
Well, but before you get into that, like, I want to add something what Mort was saying, right? So the Christians, people who say, like, they want a church, another church that no Christian's going to pray at? Yeah. Right? Like, I mean, like, you know what I'm saying? Like, y'all don't even go to church.
Yeah.
I mean, say, like, that's why all the churches in America are becoming masjids.
Yeah.
And apparently America is the most, like, active Christian community.
Hallelujah.
Christianity
Praise
in
the
Europe
Lord
is dead.
Jesus.
Yeah, because Christianity in Europe is dead.
Yeah,
is it a lot more dead than it is in, like...
No, listen.
Yeah,
America is the only place where Christianity has some kind of base. Europe, Christianity...
No.
I'm serious. In Russia and Europe. Christianity in Europe is dead. Christianity in Asia is dead. Africa, it's like they only come when they're giving them food.
Well, it's alive and well in South America, though.
No, even culture, even they're leaving.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, the minute they come to America, they're like,
actually,
peace.
South America is really powerful.
No,
I mean, like,
you know how
devout.
you know how they are devout. They're like Shias are devout Muslims. I mean, it's cultural. They'll put Ya Hussein, Ya Ali, poof, beat their ass, and then they're done, right? And then
says the guy who's wearing all black.
Yeah, no, but I'm saying that's how the
all of us are all black.
No,
actually, me too.
Yeah. Oh, wow. We're in mourning. Why are we mourning for it? Did anyone die?
Allahumma salli ala Muhammad. No, listen. So the thing is, here's the thing, okay? That in Latin American society, Christianity is very cultural, right? They'll tell you, like, they have Santa Maria. It's a very mixture, right? It's a huge thing. Yes, it's culturally tied in, but is there true? Are they really there, actively engaging? No, not really. It's not like they're not out there trying to preach Christianity. It's the evangelicals. In America, the Bible Belt. You're talking about the Midwest, where the tent preachers, the Pentecostals, right? They go out there and go, heal in the name of Jesus, touch you in the name of Jesus. They want to drink poison and all that kind of stuff. I mean, they're crazy. They're out there doing that kind of Christianity is not in Europe or Latin America anywhere. It's unique to America, and these are the ones that go out and they go to Africa, they go to Arab countries, they go to Asia. They go around because they're the ones who try to say, oh, and there's such honestly, wallahi, if it wasn't haram for me, uqsim billah, I would be a Christian preacher, evangelical. If I could be as a Muslim and do it, it would be my day job. They make so much money. I swear to God, like, there's a lost soul out there somewhere, and Jesus is telling me that you need to be healed. You need to spend right now in donation and give $20, and Jesus will heal you. Can I get an amen?
Yes.
And they donate. They're driving around in Bentley, Ferraris. They do it, and they're in jets.
Good at it.
No, but this is all they do. This is all they do. I'm serious.
Right?
Look at Joel Osteen. Look at these mega churches. They are multi-millionaires.
Yeah.
Kenneth Copeland. He brought Tyler Perry's old jet. And he says, you know why?
Yeah.
How can I preach the Lord with the Lord's word while sitting in a tube full of demons in the sky? I have to, so he basically called people in common folks.
Okay.
Anyways, the point being is
Let him keep going. Keep going.
The point being is this here, okay? Is that Christianity is dying, like Maheen said. They're only complaining because it's a Muslim country, and they want to complain and make it sound like, oh my God, the intolerance of the Muslims again.
That complaining is even exaggerated by our own people who are saying, look, Erdogan is causing problems. These people are going to be against no matter what Erdogan did. They're traditionally people who are anti-Erdogan and have...
I think it also... Yeah, that, but I'm saying, like, I don't want to keep bringing the Saeed guy in it. Forget about him. Let's not make him the discussion. But, look, you have to understand, a lot of these guys, they're so...
He looks like you.
He's got a Hitler mustache.
Guys, just check this out. Look, man, forget about it. Let's not make him the topic of this. I'll tell you why. Look, a lot of people...
He's getting defensive of his uncle.
No. Muslims are scared, bro. They want to side with any misfiring they sense of somebody being intolerant, any Muslim being intolerant. They want to just go out guns blazing against that person. That's so there. It's just a
so mashallah, Saeed, you're going to win another award. Sounds like it from the faith intolerance community.
You know what this is reminding me? Here's this reminding me of. Remember when he comes out and he goes, or whoever was at ISNA was like, John Esposito is the Abu Talib of our time, and like remember that?
Oh yeah.
Remember that?
Yeah. No. They once said it's not. I heard wallahi. They said no. They won some battle against McDonald's or something, and they compared it to the Battle of Badr. So there was wallahi. Oh my God, man! I was so upset. I'm like, wait, how could you compare some trivial battle in court? And compared to the Battle of Badr.
You know what's crazy about this? So forget this Saeed doctor, right? But there are people like him that will take every opportunity to criticize Muslims because they want to show the kuffar that, hey, we're moderate. We're the good guys.
That's what I meant to say.
We're the ones that are on your team, and we're going to play nice with you, and those guys are the evil ones. Let's kick them out the sandbox, right? That's what they're doing, right?
That's how I was mentioning this last time about us, bro.
Where is their outrage over the fact that, hello, dummy, they're trying to move the embassy into Jerusalem, they're trying to annex the part of the West Bank, what's happening in Kashmir, what about where's your Dalai Lama, and talking about, the Burmese Muslims, where are you going with this
You hit the nail on the head, and leads me to the final point of this is that many of our Muslim leaders, whether it's institutes or whatnot, doesn't matter. They are operating out of a vision or of the parameters of survival. Like all the knowledge that's disseminated, things that are supposed to be talked about, that we kind of put it off to the side, and then we say, oh well, why did our youth go join ISIS? Because you didn't want to talk about jihad when the time was to talk about jihad, and someone else filled the vacuum, and now you're upset that they went and they joined these terrorist groups. Our own people are so busy in their own survival and being accepted into the mainstream American society or British society or Australian society that they eventually will lose the meaning of Islam, and Islam will eventually just be a cultural thing, and that there'll be things related to Eid, and we'll have Eid stamps and things like that will be released to the public and let people know that, hey, you know what, Muhammad here, you know what, it's his holiday, and let's just
go for drinks.
Let's go to drinks after.
I just want to add. I know you're trying to wrap up. Let me just add one more small thing. Yeah. The reason why I believe...
I'm tired.
No, you're happy, though. Go ahead.
Okay, we'll wrap up here on this thing. I just want to say this. There's a difference in mentality. This guy, like for the ISNA guy, he's in this immigrant mentality where he has to say the right thing so he doesn't get deported. Right? I mean, that's what the thing is, right? I got to fit in.
All our parents were like that.
Yeah, that's what I mean. That generation. Still like that. That generation, be thankful you're allowed you in the country. Be thankful you're here, or you have to fit in, or don't be deported.
If you don't like it, leave.
Yeah. But for me, I am like a citizen of this country, right? I can speak my mind. I don't care what anybody says. What are you going to deport me? I was born here, idiot. You know what I mean? I can say what the hell I want to say, right? And I think that type of speech has to come with responsibility, of course, but you shouldn't be afraid of speaking your mind about things that matter. Right? And I implore anybody in power or in leadership anywhere, if you can't say the right thing from an Islamic perspective, you just better shut up. It's better for you to stay silent than be held accountable for things that are against Islam because you're trying to fit in with somebody.
Yeah.
Right?
Totally.
So that's my final thing. You know, just don't play the fool.
Yeah.
Thank you, everyone. We will finish off this show with this.
Old New York was once New Amsterdam. Why they changed it, I can't say.
Why can't
People just liked it better that way. So take me back to Constantinople. You can go back to Constantinople. Been a long time gone. Constantinople. Why did Constantinople get the works? That's nobody's business but the Turks.
That's nobody's business but the Turks. Assalamu alaikum, everyone.
Salam.
Istanbul. Istanbul. Istanbul, even old New York was once New